My name is Rachel, I'm 32, and my own parents chose a party over my grief the day my husband died. But that was just the beginning. Before I tell you how a simple child's drawing left them speechless in front of our entire family, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. It really helps to know I'm not alone in this. The sound that will haunt me forever isn't a scream or a cry. It's the dial tone. The phone felt impossibly heavy in my hand. My husband of 10 years, my Kevin, the man who sang off-key in the shower and made pancakes in the shape of dinosaurs for our daughter, was gone. A sudden, massive heart attack at 34. The doctor's words were a blur, a fog of sterile, meaningless sounds. But the silence in our house after I hung up, that was real. My 8-year-old, Lily, was looking at me, her big brown eyes wide with a question she didn't know how to ask. I knew who I had to call first. My mom and dad. You call your parents when your world ends, right? I dialed. My mom picked up on the third ring, her voice bright and loud over a din of music and laughter. Rachel, hi. Can I call you back? We're in the middle of Sophia's birthday party. My sister. Of course. Mom, I choked out, my voice a cracked whisper. It's Kevin. Mom, he's gone. He died. There was a pause. The music didn't stop. I could hear someone pop a balloon in the background. Oh. Honey, are you sure? That doesn't sound right. She wasn't asking out of disbelief, she was asking out of inconvenience. Listen, it's just really bad timing right now. Your sister's about to cut the cake. Can we talk about this tomorrow? And then I heard it. The dial tone. She had hung up. And in that moment, looking at my sweet, confused little girl, I realized something that hit me harder than Kevin's death. We were completely, utterly alone. This wasn't new, not really. It was just the most brutal version of a story I'd lived my whole life. I remember my college graduation. I was the first in our family to get a degree. I'd scanned the crowd for hours, clutching my diploma, my heart sinking with every passing minute. They finally showed up 2 hours late, smelling of paint thinner. Sophia, my perpetually aspiring artist sister, had a creative emergency and needed special canvases from a store an hour away. My once-in-a-lifetime achievement was an afterthought to her passing whim. That same feeling washed over me at Kevin's funeral. They showed up late, of course. My father, Richard, wore a golf shirt. My mother, Eleanor, complained about the traffic. They gave me a brief, awkward, one-armed hug and then stood in the back, checking their phones. The contrast was staggering. Kevin's brother, Marcus, had been at my house within an hour of the call. He didn't say much. He just made coffee, answered the door, and hugged Lily, telling her a story about the time he and her daddy tried to build a kite that ended up stuck in a tree for a month. He was a solid, comforting presence in the swirling chaos. He was family. My own parents were just relatives. At that moment, I thought their coldness was the worst of it. I was so wrong. The worst was yet to come. 3 days after we buried the love of my life, my doorbell rang. It was them. Richard and Eleanor, with practiced, somber faces. They brought a grocery store pie. We thought you could use this, my mother said, pushing it into my hands. They sat on the couch that Kevin and I had picked out together, and for a few minutes, they played the part of concerned parents. Then, my dad cleared his throat. Rachel, he started, leaning forward. We know this is a difficult time. But we need to be practical. We need to talk about Kevin's life insurance. I just stared at him. The pie felt like a lead weight in my hands. It's a substantial amount, we assume, my mother added, her voice smooth as silk. And we feel it's only fair that you give us 50%. I think my heart actually stopped. I couldn't form words. My father continued, as if this was the most reasonable request in the world. We helped you with the down payment on this house, Rachel. We've supported you. And frankly, we need to think about our retirement. Sophia's art isn't paying the bills, you know. This would secure all of us. I finally found my voice. It came out low and dangerous. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Where was fair when I called you, sobbing, to tell you my husband was dead, and you chose a party? A hot flash crawled up my neck. Where was fair at his funeral, Dad? Was that a golf shirt you were wearing? My dad's face turned red. Don't you use that tone with me. We're your parents. We deserve respect. And we deserve our share. My mother chimed in, he would have wanted us to be taken care of. Get out, I whispered. What? Get out of my house. I screamed it. The pie was still in my hands. I wanted to throw it. My father stood up, his face a mask of fury. This isn't over. You're being selfish and hysterical. We'll settle this, Rachel. We'll call a family meeting. Everyone will hear how you're treating us after everything we've done for you. He was threatening me. With my own family. And as the door slammed behind them, I knew they would do it. The next few days were a special kind of hell. I felt like I was bracing for a hurricane. One night, unable to sleep, I went into Kevin's home office. I just wanted to be in his space. I opened his filing cabinet, and my fingers brushed against a thick folder, neatly labeled, for Rachel in case of emergency. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside wasn't just the life insurance policy. It was a set of legal documents establishing something called an irrevocable trust in Lily's name. Kevin had put every single penny of the insurance payout into it, with me as the sole trustee. It was legally untouchable by anyone else. Tucked inside was a letter in his familiar scrawl. My love, it began. If you're reading this, the worst has happened. But I need you to know I've got you and Lily. I've always known how your parents are. I'm sorry, but I had to protect you from them. This money is for Lily's future, for your peace of mind. Don't let them bully you. Your love was the only inheritance I ever cared about. Tears streamed down my face, but for the first time in weeks, they weren't tears of grief. They were tears of strength. He had known. He had protected us, even from beyond the grave. That evening, as I was sorting through the papers at the kitchen table, Lily was at the other end, drawing quietly. I was so wrapped up in my own whirlwind of emotions, I barely noticed. What are you drawing, sweetie? I asked, my voice distracted. A picture about family, she said, not looking up. That's beautiful, honey, I murmured, assuming it was her way of processing her grief. I had no idea she was forging our most powerful weapon. The family meeting was held in my parents' stuffy, over-decorated living room. It was an ambush. My aunts, uncles, cousins. A jury of people who had only ever heard my parents' side of the story. My father stood before them like a prosecuting attorney, detailing their sacrifices. My mother wept crocodile tears about their financial fears. My Aunt Carol, my mom's sister, was the most vocal. Rachel, I'm disappointed in you, she said, shaking her head. Your parents deserve security. You're being incredibly ungrateful. The weight of their judgment was crushing. I felt small, cornered. I opened my mouth to defend myself, to tell them about the trust, but the words wouldn't come. And then, Lily, who had been sitting quietly in the corner, stood up. She walked past me, clutching a folded piece of drawing paper. She walked right up to my father and my mother, who were sitting together on their love seat. I drew this for you, she said, her voice clear as a bell. So you'd remember. She placed the drawing on the coffee table in front of them. My dad scoffed. What is this nonsense, he grumbled, picking it up. He unfolded it. The room fell silent. It was a child's drawing, simple and brutal in its honesty. On the left side, a smiling stick figure Daddy, Mommy, and Lily were holding hands under a big, bright yellow sun. On the right side, two other stick figures, clearly my parents, standing next to a birthday cake and balloons. A little ways away from them, tiny figures of Mommy and Lily stood alone, under a big, scribbled black rain cloud, with blue crayon tears running down their faces. My father just stared at it. His hand, the one holding the paper, began to shake. My mother leaned in, and a strangled gasp escaped her lips. This was my moment. I knelt beside Lily, my arm wrapped protectively around her shoulder. My voice was no longer weak. It was steel. That isn't nonsense, Dad, I said, looking him straight in the eye. That is the truth. She's showing you. She's showing all of you where you were when our world fell apart. The air went out of the room. Aunt Carol's mouth hung open. The smugness on my father's face crumbled, replaced by a pale, horrified shock. My mother just stared at the drawing, her face white. For the first time, they had been forced to see their own reflection in the eyes of an innocent child, and it was hideous. This meeting is over, I said, my voice calm. I stood up, taking Lily's hand. I didn't need to mention the trust. The money was irrelevant now. I looked at my parents, one last time. The problem was never about money. And I don't think it will ever be about you again. We walked out of that house, leaving the ruins of their self-righteousness behind us. The door clicking shut was the most satisfying sound I'd ever heard. 3 months have passed since that day. Lily and I moved. We're in a smaller, brighter apartment that feels more like home than that big house ever did. We've built a new kind of family. Marcus comes over for dinner every Sunday. My best friend from college helps me with Lily when I need to work. I started my own freelance project management business, and for the first time, I feel completely in control of my own life. A few weeks ago, I got a voicemail. It was my mother. Her voice was hesitant, fragile. There was no apology, no demand. Just a question. Lily, is she okay? I listened to it once, and then I deleted it. I wasn't angry anymore. I just felt nothing. My priority was my own peace, my daughter's happiness. The door to my parents is closed. Maybe it's not locked forever, but I'm the only one with the key. Last night, I hung Lily's drawing on our new living room wall. It's a reminder. Not of their betrayal, but of our survival. And next to it, I'm going to have Lily draw a new picture, the two of us, with Marcus and our friends, all planting a tree together. Because Kevin was right. Love is the only inheritance that matters. And we've learned that family isn't the one you're born into. It's the one you build. It's the people who show up. Thank you all so much for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but it feels important. My question for you is, what do you believe truly defines a family? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if my story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more. You're not alone.